everybody, my name's Helen, and I'm hitting you today with my December wrap-up. Alright, so y'all may remember that I had this huge TBR for December, thinking that I was going to have so much time to read, which I did, but I didn't use it. And I only actually read 2 books from on that TBR, and in total, I read 4 books. Yeah, so it was kind of an iffy month, but I was in a bit of a reading slump, and then there was the Christmas Booktubeathon, which I read 2 out of the 4 books during, and it just pulled me out of my reading slump, and now I'm like so excited to get back into the reading groove. And yes, so thank you, Christmas Booktubeathon. And also, because I finished all of these books while I was back home, I do not have hard copies with me, but I will try to put pictures of them here for you, if I can figure it out on my program. So the first book I read this month was An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. This was for my Gishwez book club, and it was a reread for me, and I didn't like it as much the second time as I did the first time, but I still really enjoyed it. John Green. The second book that I read this month, Allegiant by Veronica Roth. I know that a lot of people hated this book as the ending to the series, but I loved it. It was my favorite book out of the trilogy, and I thought that it was amazing. I thought that the ending was realistic considering the situation, and I thought that it was the perfect ending for the series. Now that I've read it, I can't imagine it ending any other way. Veronica Roth, please write more books. I want to read more books by you. The third book that I read this month, which I do have a hard copy of, but it's a friend's, so it's not going to be here for very long, is Once Upon a Marigold by Jean Ferris, and oh my goodness, this book. Thank you, Joy, for making me read it. This is like a fairy tale that Jean Ferris made up, and it follows this boy named Christian who was lost in the woods when he was 6, and he gets taken in by this troll named Ed, and he raises him, and as Christian gets older, he uses his telescope to look over at the castle, which is across the river, and he starts seeing this one princess, and he thinks that she's the most beautiful person on the planet. So he sends her a letter one day, and she actually responds, telling him that her name is Marigold, and the two of them become really good friends. And one day Christian kind of realizes that he's falling for her, so he leaves home to go and get a job at the palace so that he can get to know her even better. Oh my god, this book is so cute. So cute. It's ridiculously cute, and there's a point in this where they just exchange really punny jokes. Can the 3 little pigs keep a secret? No, they squeal. Those are the kind of jokes that the two of them tell each other. I recommend this to everybody. I had to create a shelf on Goodreads for this book called Unbelievably Cute. And finally, the last book that I read this month was Nobody's Princess by Esther Friesner. I believe that's how you say her name. It is the first book in her Princesses of Myth series, and it follows Helen of Troy / Helen of Sparta. But instead of it being just her being pretty and getting kidnapped and thrown on the Trojan horse and everything, she decides when she's really young that she wants to be a warrior, so she starts training with her brothers, and she basically just doesn't take anybody's shit, and it's a lot of fun to read. I am waiting, hopefully, for the next book to come in the mail, which is called Nobody's Prize, and yes, I'm so excited. Overall, this was a fairly good bout of books for me. An Abundance of Catherines I re-rated 3.5 out of 5 stars, which was originally at 4.5, so it dropped one full star point technically, just because I didn't like it as much, not because it doesn't deserve to be a 4 or a 4.5, just because after reading things like The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, you just know that it's not as amazing as his other works. I still love it. Allegiant I rated 5 out of 5, Once Upon a Marigold I rated 4 out of 5, and Nobody's Princess I rated 3.5 out of 5. So yes, that's it. That's my wrap-up.